In the cold darkness of deep space, the human ship Odyssey moved silently through the endless stars. Its crew was tense but excited because they had discovered something no human had ever seen before. On a dead planet in a forgotten system, a massive alien artifact lay buried beneath the dust and rocks. Its surface shimmered with strange energy. Glowing softly as if alive, the captain, Elias Grant, stared at the artifact from the observation deck. His crew whispered among themselves, unsure if this was a relic or a trap. Dr. Lena Marks, the lead scientist, approached the artifact cautiously, scanning it with her instruments. "Captain, this energy. It's unlike anything we've ever seen before," she said. Her voice full of awe and fear. The artifact suddenly projected a hologram. An alien figure standing tall and glowing with light. Its language was strange, filled with symbols that shifted and moved like liquid. The crew watched in silence as the hologram seemed to speak directly to them. A warning about the future flashed before their eyes, showing fire, destruction, and the fall of humanity, but the scientists, eager for fame and discovery, ignored the warning. "It's just a myth." "Captain," Dr. Mark said, "ancient aliens always leave mysterious messages. But nothing real happens." Captain Grant frowned but decided to follow the crew's excitement. The artifact's warning felt distant and unreal. Just another puzzle to study as they prepared to leave the planet. Strange things began to happen. Systems on the ship started failing one by one. The lights flickered, engines shuddered, and communications cut in and out. Crew members reported hearing whispers in the corridors. Shadows moving where no one should be. A sense of fear grew. But most tried to convince themselves it was only nerves. Then, one of the junior officers, Kai, disappeared without a trace. His belongings were found in his cabin, but he was gone. Cameras showed only static for a moment, and then him standing silently in the hallway before vanishing. The crew was shaken. Whispers of panic spread quickly. Some wanted to leave immediately, but the captain ordered caution. "We need to understand this before we act," he said. Dr. Marks returned to the artifact. Hoping to find answers, the hologram flashed again, showing the same terrifying future, but now she noticed something new. The warning wasn't just about destruction, it was a test. A chance for humanity to change the course of history. The alien message suggested that humans had the intelligence and courage to survive if they made the right choices. Despite the warning, greed and curiosity pulled many forward. They wanted to unlock the secrets of the artifact, believing they could control its power. But as the Odyssey prepared to depart, a low rumble shook the ship. Strange lights danced across the stars outside, as if the galaxy itself was watching. A voice, faint and almost like a thought, whispered in their minds, "Ignore this at your own risk." Captain Grant looked at his crew, realizing the weight of the choice before them. Should they leave with their discovery and continue their mission? Or should they listen and prepare for the danger that the universe had just shown them? The artifact pulsed one last time before falling silent, leaving only questions, fear, and a creeping sense that humanity had just ignored a warning it could not afford to. The stars outside seemed colder now, and the silence of space felt heavy with the promise of consequences. Humanity had taken the first step into a future they did not fully understand, and somewhere, far beyond their sight, the galaxy waited to see if they would survive after leaving the dead planet. The human ship Odyssey moved toward a nearby star system. The crew was excited, talking about the discoveries they had made. But an uneasy feeling lingered, especially for Dr. Lena Marks, who could not shake the image of the alien warning. The symbols and visions haunted her dreams, showing fire, broken cities, and the death of millions. Captain Grant believed in human courage and curiosity. "We cannot stop for fear," he said, encouraging the crew. many agreed. Eager to explore new worlds and claim resources, they ignored the quiet warnings, thinking they were overcautious, or imagining that the artifact was just an ancient myth. When they arrived in the new system, humans began colonizing a beautiful planet with oceans and mountains. The first bases were set up quickly. Machines dug into the soil and settlements grew, but soon, strange things started to happen. Machines broke down without reason, power systems overloaded, and small earthquakes shook the colonies. At first, engineers blamed poor planning, but the incidents became more frequent and unpredictable then. Ships sent to explore nearby moons reported invisible attacks. Lasers and missiles disappeared before reaching targets. Radar signals went blank, and sensors showed impossible readings. Panic spread among the crew, and fear crept into the hearts of settlers. Many whispered that the ancient warning had been real, but they dared not speak it aloud, afraid of sounding weak. Dr. Marx and a small group of scientists began studying the anomalies. They discovered patterns in the attacks, clues pointing to some intelligence controlling the invisible force. "It's not random," she said to Captain Grant. "Someone or something is testing us, or punishing us for ignoring the artifact." Her words were met with skepticism, but deep down, some crew members felt the truth in them. One evening, a supply ship vanished while approaching the planet. Its last messages were strange, full of static and faint whispers. The crew watched in horror as the coordinates faded into nothing. Captain Grant ordered emergency protocols, but the invisible attacks grew bolder, targeting colonies and ships alike. Some humans wanted to leave, others wanted to fight, and fear began dividing them. The hero of the story, young engineer Kai, discovered a strange energy signature in the planet's atmosphere. It matched the same energy of the artifact they had found. Slowly, Kai began to connect the dots, realizing that ignoring the ancient warning had activated something, a force older than humanity, testing their strength, intelligence, and unity. Tensions rose as arguments broke out. Some leaders wanted to exploit the planet's resources, ignoring the danger, while Kai and Dr. Marx tried to convince them to focus on survival. But humans were impatient, greedy, and proud. They believed technology and strategy alone could protect them, unaware that the universe had other plans. One night, a massive storm of energy erupted around the colonies. Lights flickered, machines exploded, and communication systems failed. Humans ran in panic. But Kai calmly analyzed the patterns, directing small teams to stabilize sections of the colony. Using both courage and knowledge, he saved many lives, proving that intelligence and calm action could fight the invisible threat. Captain Grant watched silently, realizing that this was only the beginning. The universe was not punishing them for curiosity, but testing whether humanity could learn, adapt, and survive. He finally understood that the first mistake, ignoring the warning, was only a lesson in disguise. The future of humans depended on cleverness, courage, and unity, not just strength or technology. As the invisible attacks subsided for a moment, the crew of Odyssey prepared for what was coming next. The galaxy was watching, ancient forces waiting, and humanity had just begun to realize that survival would require everything they had and more. After surviving the invisible attacks, the crew of Odyssey felt both relief and fear. They knew the danger was far from over. Dr. Lena Marx and young engineer Kai spent long hours analyzing the energy patterns from the alien artifact. They discovered a hidden path in the data, a signal pointing to a secret alien archive hidden on a distant moon. Captain Grant hesitated, knowing the journey could be dangerous. But curiosity and hope pushed them forward. The ship traveled through dense asteroid fields and radiation storms, testing the skill and courage of the crew. Every passing hour brought tension, as if the galaxy itself was watching. waiting to see if humanity would survive. When they finally landed on the icy moon, the landscape was desolate. Mountains of ice reflected the weak light of a distant sun. The crew explored carefully, their footsteps crunching in the frozen silence. Then, buried beneath layers of ice, they found a massive entrance carved into the mountain. Ancient alien symbols glowed faintly, lighting the way inside. The archive was unlike anything humans had ever seen. Walls were covered with holographic data, showing galaxies, civilizations, and histories of countless species. The archive revealed that many advanced civilizations had risen and fallen. But one thing remained the same: those who ignored warnings or grew too proud were destroyed. Kai and Dr. Marx realized that the archive was not just a library. It was a guide, showing the potential future of humanity. Some humans had the power to learn, adapt, and survive, while others would perish. The archive also contained advanced technology, machines and systems that could enhance human intelligence, create powerful defenses, and even manipulate space energy. But the treasure came with a warning, a test of morality and wisdom. Using the technology for greed or domination would bring disaster. Only those who understood responsibility and unity could survive. Debate broke out among the crew. Some saw an opportunity for power, to become the rulers of a new galaxy, while others, like Kai and Dr. Marx, urged caution and careful study. Captain Grant walked silently among them, feeling the weight of the decision. Every choice they made now could affect the survival of all humanity. The crew divided into two groups, one pushing for exploitation, the other for protection and understanding. Tension filled the air like electricity before a storm. Meanwhile, the artifact from the dead planet pulsed with energy. Reacting to the choices being made, it was as if the universe was reminding them that every action had a consequence. Kai realized that ignoring the warning before had been a mistake. But now they had a chance to correct it, to learn from the past and shape a better future. Suddenly, a holographic projection appeared, showing a future where humans use the technology wisely, creating harmony, peace, and strength across the galaxy. But the projection also showed a darker path where greed and pride destroyed them. Leaving nothing but ashes and silence, the choice was theirs. And the archive waited patiently for their decision. As the crew debated, storms raged outside, snow and ice scratching the surface of the archive. It felt like the galaxy itself was testing their resolve. Kai stepped forward, urging the humans to listen. "Understand and unite. This is not just technology," he said. "It is a chance to rewrite our future, and we cannot fail." Captain Grant nodded slowly, realizing that the true power was not in the machines or weapons, but in the courage, intelligence, and wisdom of humanity. The journey ahead would be dangerous, the stakes higher than ever, but for the first time, hope and determination shone brightly in their hearts. The archive pulsed once more, as if approving their choice. And somewhere in the vast galaxy, an ancient intelligence watched silently, waiting to see if humanity would rise to the challenge or fall into the same mistakes of the past. With knowledge from the alien archive, humanity was no longer unprepared. Captain Grant and Dr. Lena Marx led the crew to develop advanced ships, weapons, and defense systems using the ancient technology. Human engineers enhanced shields faster than light engines, and energy weapons. The colonies, once weak and vulnerable, were now ready to defend themselves. The invisible force that had attacked their colonies returned. Stronger and faster than before, it struck without warning, targeting settlements and ships, but this time humans were ready. Kai and his team coordinated defenses, using the technology to predict attacks and counter them quickly. The crew felt a mix of fear and determination. Knowing that failure meant extinction, space battles erupted across the system, glowing streaks of energy cutting through the darkness. The enemy was invisible at first, moving faster than human sensors could detect. But the archive's knowledge gave humans an advantage, allowing them to anticipate the attacks, block energy surges, and strike with precision. Captain Grant personally led a strike team to the heart of the enemy. Piloting the fastest ship in the fleet, his voice over the comms was calm. Directing every move with strategy and courage, crew members risked their lives, dodging invisible beams, launching counterattacks, and rescuing ships under fire. Every second was a test of skill, intelligence, and bravery. Kai discovered that the enemy was not just attacking randomly. It was a test designed to challenge humans, forcing them to use both brains and courage. He shared this with the captain and crew, urging them to think, adapt, and work together. "It's not just war," he said. "It's a test of whether we can survive and learn." Some humans still wanted to use the alien technology for power, risking their lives and others, but Captain Grant and Kai convinced most to focus on survival. The enemy grew frustrated, its invisible attacks becoming reckless and more chaotic. This gave humans the opportunity to strike back with coordinated precision. The battles reached a climax near the outer edges of the system. Ships weaving through asteroids and energy storms, explosions lit the void, illuminating the courage and ingenuity of humanity. Marks guided energy shields around colonies, preventing total destruction, while Kai and engineers repaired damaged ships mid-battle. Keeping the fleet alive, finally, the invisible force confronted humans directly. Revealing itself as a massive alien intelligence, it shimmered with energy, testing human willpower and strategy. Captain Grant approached it boldly, not with weapons, but with knowledge and courage. Using the alien archive's guidance, they communicated, showing intelligence, respect, and unity. The alien intelligence paused, observing humanity's actions. Could realize that humans were clever, brave, and capable of learning. The attacks ceased, leaving the fleet and colonies unharmed. But the message was clear. Humanity had passed the test, proving that they could survive and thrive in a hostile galaxy. Victory was not just survival, it was a lesson. The crew understood that courage, intelligence, and unity were stronger than any weapon. Captain Grant looked at the fleet, pride shining in his eyes. "We are not just survivors," he said. "We are humanity, and we will shape our future." As the fleet returned to the colonies, celebrations and relief spread among humans, but far beyond the stars, the galaxy waited silently, ancient forces observing, hinting that more challenges lay ahead. Humanity had struck back, rewritten their path, and survived the first great test of the cosmos. After surviving the ultimate test, humanity began rebuilding. The colonies were stronger and safer, thanks to the technology and knowledge from the alien archive. Captain Grant and Dr. Lena Marks led teams to establish defenses, energy grids, and research stations across the system, ensuring that humans were ready for any challenge that might come. Kai worked tirelessly, using the alien technology to enhance ships, weapons, and communication, but he also warned that power alone was not enough. Humanity needed wisdom, courage, and unity to truly rewrite their future. The crew trained together, sharing knowledge and strategies, learning from their mistakes. The artifact from the dead planet pulsed one final time, a signal of approval. It was as if the galaxy recognized that humans had grown, adapted, and survived. The invisible forces that once attacked were gone, leaving only lessons and the promise of potential. Humans now understood that their strength was not just in technology, but in their mind, courage, and ability to work together. News spread across the colonies that humanity had passed the test. Demonstrations of bravery, intelligence, and unity inspired every settlement. Young engineers, soldiers, and scientists looked to the future with hope. Knowing that they were capable of facing the unknown, Captain Grant addressed the fleet. "We have learned, we have survived, and now we will decide our own path," he said. The alien archive revealed one last secret, showing that humans could influence the galaxy in ways no other species had. They could create peace, explore distant stars, and protect life from danger, but it also warned of challenges still hidden, forces that would test their courage again. Kai and Dr. Marks knew that humanity was ready, not because they had weapons, but because they had learned to think, adapt, and unite. Humanity began exploring new star systems, establishing colonies, and forming alliances with friendly civilizations. Every new discovery was met with excitement and caution. They shared knowledge, technology, and stories, teaching others the importance of wisdom, courage, and unity. The galaxy started to recognize humans as clever, brave, and resilient, a species capable of shaping the future. One evening, as the twin suns set over the main colony, Captain Grant watched the stars, remembering the first warning from the alien artifact. He realized that ignoring it had been a dangerous mistake, but surviving it had made humanity stronger, wiser, and more determined. "We have rewritten our future," he whispered, "and we will continue to do so." Far beyond the stars, ancient intelligences watched silently, curious about humanity's next move. Some hoped they would fail. Others were impressed by their resilience. But one thing was certain: the universe had never seen a species like humans, capable of learning from mistakes, standing against impossible odds, and creating their destiny. The artifact remained on the icy moon, a reminder and a guide, waiting patiently for future generations to learn, explore, and grow. Humanity had passed the ultimate test, survived the invisible enemy, and rewritten the story of the galaxy. Now, with courage, wisdom, and unity, they would face the challenges ahead with confidence, ready to shape a future that was once only imagined. And so, humanity's journey continued, not just as survivors, but as pioneers, thinkers, and guardians of the galaxy. Their story was no longer one of fear and destruction, but of hope, ingenuity, and strength. The stars themselves seemed to shine brighter, welcoming the species that had learned to rise above every obstacle.